Hi, welcome to Pink Lion Podcast, Stories from the Threshold Between Worlds. March of 2024, my father-in-law passed. He had glioblastoma, brain cancer, and we all kind of came in at the end and helped take care of him. One of the things I didn't realize at the time, as I was preparing for his eventual outcome, which would be passing this world, I didn't know how the connection, the thread between us all sort of worked. So when he passed, we were all very sad, understandably. But then I started to sense he was around. I didn't say anything to anyone because I didn't think that people would believe me. I didn't even know if I believed myself, to be perfectly honest. And he and my mother-in-law lived, they're snowbirds. They lived in Vegas half the year and Omaha the other half of the year. I personally live with my husband and family in California, so we would travel to Vegas to see them when they were here, those 6 months of the year. And my mother-in-law asked me to take her from Vegas to Omaha after he passed so that someone could be with her during that journey. And she needed another driver. She couldn't do it alone at, 75 years old, soon to be 76 that year. And I happily agreed to do it. I had no problem. So we had planned to leave the Tuesday after Mother's Day of 2024. And that Thursday before Mother's Day, I remember packing for the trip to Vegas. And what I had done, I was doing laundry, and when I was folding and kind of putting everything away, I heard turn around. I was like, in his voice, and I was like, oh my God, I'm losing my mind. I turned around, and behind me on the shelf in the closet was a softball that was his and a beanie that he wore near the end when we would kind of push him in the wheelchair around the neighborhood. And I remember thinking, oh my God. And I then started to get this overwhelming feeling. It was just this internal feeling like I could feel his presence with me. And I thought, wow, I must really be missing him or something. There's got to be something wrong. I didn't share it with anybody because I was concerned that they would think that I was either grieving too much or going crazy or over dramatizing. So I kept that information to myself at that specific time. We drove out. My husband drove me out there, and we took our daughter with us. And the reason he did is obviously I would be driving his mother's car from Vegas to Omaha and then flying back to California. So I didn't want to leave our vehicle in Vegas and have to, fly to Vegas and then drive back to California. I didn't want to do that. So we all went out there, and after he left with our daughter to drive back on Mother's Day, I was sitting there with Mom, and I could feel Dad in that condo. I mean, like, the things that he would say were very clear there in the place that he lived and passed. I don't know what prompted me to open up to Mom, but I think I was sort of hoping that she felt him too. And part of it was I felt him so much more around her, and I was thinking maybe she might feel him too, and it's not just me. So gently, I started to ask her questions about, did she feel Dad, or like, does she think that, Dad went on, and what does she think about the afterlife? And, we had never discussed anything of the subject whatsoever. No religion, no nothing. So I was scared, and I held back. But oddly, she actually embraced the subject, and I didn't know it at the time. She's very spiritual. So she has her own thoughts on reincarnation, the afterlife, and everything. She told me, because I was like, Mom, I hear Dad. And she said, oh my God, I do too. He won't leave me alone. Like, he's keeps me up all night, telling me all this stuff that all is just making me write these to-do lists, getting everything planned for a celebration of life and the things that I need to do the next day, all the checklists that I have. Like he's just marching orders to me all the time, and he won't shut up. So I then felt comfortable enough to tell her a little bit more. And it was during that shared experience that I felt safe and that I wasn't going crazy, even though I still thought that I kind of was. I still felt like maybe there's something to this. So as I went along in my journey, I wrote this book eventually over the summer. It actually just took me like a week and a half to write it because of everything that happened during that time. And here's what the conclusion is. When our loved ones pass, they don't leave us at all. They just transform. Their body might die, but they don't. They transform into something else, kind of like a caterpillar that turns into a butterfly. And they can communicate, and the way they communicate, it's more subtle. They no longer have a human body, so they don't have a voice box. They can't use that English language or whatever language you speak. They can't use that in order to communicate. So how would you communicate as energy or as a soul? You would have to think things, right? So this is how they communicate to us, through our thoughts, through our emotions, through our feelings, our five senses, essentially. And when you are paying attention to it enough, you can pick up on it right away. You ever been doing the dishes and suddenly thought about your grandmother who passed or something? Or you might smell something that triggers that memory. These things are not coincidences. That's spirit talking. Just like he whispered in my ear, turn around. And I turned around, saw it, realized it was him because I heard the voice in my head. I couldn't kind of put it all together. Well, this podcast is going to be highlighting some of these signs that we see and how the universe and our loved ones speak to us through these different signs and synchronicities. I'll have guests on. We'll talk to different mediums, maybe some past life regression hypnotherapists, and many different people who can help us piece these things together that we already know or sense or already start to plug certain pieces in, but may not be able to put the whole thing together yet. And that's what I want to dedicate to this podcast, so that people always have a place to go to let them know that at the beginning, like me, I thought I was going completely crazy and had no idea what to do, who to turn to, what information was out there for me. I want to provide a platform for people to know that they are not going crazy. These things are very real. And to identify that language. It's a new language that I had to learn. I'm still learning it. I'm a student still, but I can also be a teacher or potentially a guide and help people unveil this so that they can remain close to their loved ones. Because let me tell you, I have a whole spirit team. My father-in-law who passed, all my dads, that's why I wrote the book. There's 4 dads. They're all up there. They're all part of my team. My grandmother, my stepdads, my dad, my Uncle Steve, who passed over the summer, and they're all guiding me. One of the things that I did, because I needed validation, my brain, I'm a very logical person. I would have never believed any of this, and I haven't my whole life until it happened to me. But I needed validation. I needed tangible things to know that this was an actual exchange, a communication that was happening. So the very first thing I asked for was a penny. And that penny came 2 days after I asked my father-in-law for it. And how it happened, I'm a president of a board in the community that I live in, and I'd had a meeting at the clubhouse the night before. I went back the next morning to follow up on business that I needed to kind of handle. And as I opened the gate to that clubhouse and pool area, a penny fell from the gate. Hello, that never happens at all. So when that happened, I was like, oh, wow. The likelihood of that happening, like I know somebody had to have the thought to put that penny there for it to fall. It's not like it was like magically placed there by Spirit, but Spirit had to whisper that into somebody's head or put the thought in order for them to place that there for me to then find it. That's how that works. But that wasn't good enough for my brain. I was like, oh, not good enough. I need more than that. So what I wound up doing is I wound up asking for 4 specific signs. A 1979 penny, more specific, a pink lion, a blue softball, and any number sequences of 920, which was my father-in-law's birthday. I've publicly kept private what 920 means to me and how that sign came, but the others came like a little bit later. It took a little while to get all those to me, like a month and a half, but they came. The 1979 penny I found a week before we left for our trip to Omaha for Dad's celebration of life. The pink lion came after the celebration of life. It actually came on the celebration of life. We just didn't open the gift until 2 days after the celebration of life. It was the only gift that was given for the celebration of life. And I'm just going to pull it out for those of you who can see the video. This is the pink lion, a little beanie baby cub. And this was gifted, the only gift that was given to us that day. And it came from a childhood friend of my husband's who lived a couple doors down. And we have no idea why he chose it. We never asked. We never told him. Nobody knew about the list except for our immediate family. And then the blue softball, there's no actual pink lions, right? So it had to come in a different form. And there's actually no blue softballs because they only have them in yellow regulation colors. They don't come in blue. So it actually showed up. It was found by my brother-in-law. It was on the side of the road. It was a child's rubber ball. You know, the kind that they sell at like Walmart or Target, and they're bouncy. That was on the side of the road, abandoned, no school, no houses, no nothing in sight, underneath a sign. That was like the last sign that presented itself. So when we had collected them all, we thought, that's it, he's talking. Like it could not be meant for anyone else. But then the things that happen afterward, they're pretty incredible. And I documented them throughout the whole year and put them in the book, Pink Lion. So I feel like Spirit was saying, they're giving me the evidence to show to you guys that they're very much talking to us all the time. And I put that theory to the test this summer when I finished the coast-to-coast drive with my mother-in-law and drove her from Omaha to her new home in Virginia. And I created another list for my uncle with 5 signs, and I got all 5 of them while I was on this journey with her for 2 weeks. So that was kind of cool. And I posted all that to the social media page. It'll be in the book too. But again, this is for you guys. You're not going crazy. It's okay to ask for some crazy things. I asked for a purple cowboy hat from my uncle. Hello. Blue owl, purple cowboy hat, black floppy-eared bunny, a 1972 nickel, and a 1949 coin, any type. I got them all, especially that purple cowboy hat, which is quite interesting. And I'll go into that at another time. But welcome to the threshold, guys. Things are going to get weird and wild, and it's okay. We can be weird together because at the end of the day, we are all one. We are all part of the same web. If you can see the webs, we are all part of it. And I'm going to explain this all to you at some point here. Thank you so much for joining the podcast today. Excuse me. It's been fun talking to you, and I can't wait to tell you more. Take care and have a good night.